And I tell people the best business school is opening your own business. And I'll take it to the grave. The best business school is opening your own business. In fact, this is actually proven up by research. There was a recent study of interviewing or surveying the Fortune 500 CEOs. The top 20% of the Fortune 500 CEOs never went to college. Never went to college, yet became the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Today's generation, where they're plugged into the cell phone all the time, they can't read human nature at all. Like, you don't understand how many young people don't even know the concept of personal space because they've never been out in society to get punched in the face when they get too close to somebody. That's why you see all these rages in the street, these crowd, takeovers and stuff, because people don't understand human behavior. Many of my clients and many of my friends say, look, bro, I use ChatGPT for 80% of this contract. I need you to take a look at the 20% that's, a little bit unique. It's taken over. The radiology, done. AI can detect more on a radiographic film than radiologists can. Like 90% more with better accuracy. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. N2N, also known as the Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends, and because my fans and my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning of the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. So excited to be back in the studio. It has been a whirlwind summer, as you already know. Just got back from Austin, Texas, Gumball 3000 supercar event, Miami to Mexico, Monterrey for World Cup. Just one of the stops was in Austin. Just an amazing time, which will be a subject of another podcast other than today's episode. Today's episode, you will be very, very, very intrigued and interested to know why I don't think you need college at all in today's day and age. And before we get into that, if you're new to the show, I'm a doctor, a lawyer, a business guy. Have a law firm in Houston, Texas, over 35 people, been practicing for 23 plus years, helping thousands of people recover millions of dollars in settlements. And with that, I'm also a co-founder of several AI tech companies and investor in several other companies. That is my background. And the reason I'm doing this podcast with no sponsorship, no money, putting my own money in, no outside money, I should say, putting my own money, my own dime, my own time into this is to give this free game, free knowledge, what's stored in this dome to you for free. And so before I get into that, I want to give thanks to everybody that supported the show for the last 4+ years, right? If if you've been listening for a while, you know that when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is give thanks to God and the universe for an opportunity to be great. Tell the universe that I love it and I'm appreciative of everything that I've been given and the opportunities that I've had, and hopefully inspire one person, that could be you today, to live to their fullest controllable potential. That is our mission statement here on the N2N podcast, which is inspiring others to live to their fullest controllable potential. A lot of things outside of our control, but what we can control, that should be maximized. And with that, I want to thank everybody out there that's been supporting the show. We do this on a karmic exchange. Like I said, I give this free game, free knowledge to you in exchange, right? We work in a karmic system here. I don't want you to owe me anything, but I do want you to do is repay me by sharing the show. Like I say, if your knowledge swell, share the show. That's how we grow. If you learn something from this show or any other episode, which I guarantee you will, please do share the show. I do not want the burden of your karmic debt to me. I want you to repay me by just sharing the show, or else go to my law firm, Westloop Law, KiraConnector.com, MyMedi.ai, Naya.com, 1925tequila.com, LOPnetwork.com, LegacyXtoken.com. I'm invested in a lot of things, man. So support those brands, support those products, or share the show. That's how I restore the debt. So going back to it, a lot of people at the car events, young people I meet, they're inspired by all the cars that are there. They're inspired by my car. If this last week I took a Ferrari V12 Lusso, custom painted by Saif Vasarely, world famous street artist, one of one, literally a one of one, first one in North America that he's hand painted. And the idea here was not to, yes, it's obviously a showcase art piece. However, the reason I originally got that car painted was to inspire people, right? Inspiration. And so at these events, I inspire young people to think and imagine a future where they could own one of these cars. right? If that's the goal, like that's the initial goal for most people. Hey, I want nice things. Once you get the nice things, you understand it's really not about the nice things. It's about a bigger mission than yourself. But the first step of achievement is like going after nice things, right? For most people. And so a lot of people at these events ask me, hey, I'm about to do this. Should I go to business school? I'm about to graduate here. Should I go to business school? Nothing against business school. Nothing against college at all. If that's your path, if you're looking for a degree or a career path that requires a degree or licensure of some sort, by all means, go to college, get the requirements to get that license. Go to graduate school, get the requirements to get the license. Go whatever it is you need to do to get a license that requires a college education, by all means, go to college. However, I will submit to you that my answer to most of these people is that if you want these nice things, yes, being a doctor can afford a nice living. Being a lawyer can afford a nice living. But to really get that stratospheric wealth, you got to get into business. And I tell people the best business school is opening your own business. Okay? That is and I'll take it to the grave. The best business school is opening your own business. And why do I say that? Because my background, I will tell you that my parents, we left my family, my brothers and I, my parents, when I was a baby, we left Vietnam after the Vietnam War. They literally gave up everything. They had a very nice living, very wealthy in Vietnam, gave it up to zero to start all over again in the United States, which we were grateful for. But they were in their 40s, right? And in their 40s, they busted their ass, 2-3 jobs each, saved up enough money, opened a print shop. Print shop in the late 70s, early 80s, just skyrockets. They took advantage of several programs, several opportunities, just worked their asses off, in the 80s and 90s, doing $4 or $5 million a year, 50 plus employees, which is the American dream, which I still believe is available today if you do the right things, right? I grew up in that environment. I grew up in that business environment. And so instead of going to summer camps, I'm at the print shop at a very young age, sweeping floors. In fact, we actually slept on the floor of the print shop, right? Like slept on the floor because they were working all the time, no babysitters, nobody there. We just had to manage and do it ourselves. Brush our teeth on our fingers. Like we would literally put toothpaste on our fingers and that's how we brushed our teeth. That type of experience, no business school can replace. No college, nobody's going to teach you that is the kind of shit you got to go through to be successful. Right? Business school is great. It'll teach you Excel modeling. It'll teach you theoretical finance. It'll teach you marketing strategies, case studies, other major companies that have done certain things in this environment. But that's all theoretical. That's all, kind of up here in the cloud to be a consultant, to go consult other businesses. I get it. That's a great career path. But to open your own business and go through the shit that business school won't teach you, that is the best MBA on the planet. Because in the end, whether you're selling a product or a service, real business is about relationship building, understanding human nature, understanding how relationships work, understanding other people's profiles and their standards and how they conduct themselves, what their interests are, what motivates them, what scares them, all these things you're not going to learn in business. Like you will not learn this stuff, right? Like understanding employees and what drives them, understanding customers, all these things you will not learn in business school. Theoretically, you could read case studies after case studies. It's like physician. I'm a doctor, went through medical school. I can read all the textbooks that I can possibly understand about delivering a baby, but there's no better way to learn how to deliver a baby other than deliver a baby. And I've delivered several of them, right? There's no other way to save a person's life. You can read about it in, like surgical, technique and all these other things. Until you're in the moment, you will not understand what it's like. You have to put in the reps. So business school will not allow you to put in the reps that you would in opening your own business. The reason is that the human element is not theoretical, it's practical. And you cannot understand the human. I will give an example. Employees, they will betray your ass at the first turn if you don't hire the right person. Character, understanding character, morals, values, standards, all those things. If you hire the wrong person, you will pay for that more than what you did in paying for their training. I've had instances where, for example, my parents, when they had the print shop that I talked to earlier, they would sponsor refugees from Vietnam just to get them out of Vietnam. The husband and wife teams, and often adult children, train them in the business of printing 3, 4, 5 years and make all that investment, all that money. And then all of a sudden, that same family that they sponsored all the way from Vietnam, all the money, all the investment, all the training, all the time, that same family quits and opens up a print shop right down the street. There's no business school going to teach you how to handle that. It's happened to me plenty of times in my law firm, in our health tech companies, employees that you thought you knew you could trust, and then all of a sudden go become a competitor or quit and, whatever. Take your resources, your strategies, your insight knowledge, your all that. No business school is going to get you ready for that. The human element is the X factor in everything, because it's the human element that actually makes the businesses run. You can have your SOPs, you can have freaking the patents, you can have the licenses, you can have the assets, you can have the finance, you can have all that teed up, but if you have the wrong people or don't understand people, failure. Or, setbacks at least, speed bumps at least. And so that's why I encourage everybody. I even encourage my son. I said, listen, he's 19 now, about to be a sophomore in college. Going into college, I said, Nate, his name's Nate, obviously. Nate, you understand, and I will tell this to my daughter, who's much younger. Nate, you don't have to go to college. I told him this straight out. I said, we got money prepared for you to pay for tuition. However, unless you want to become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant, something like that requires college, you do not have to go to college, right? If you have a business idea, make a business plan, show me you thought through it, show me you've thought, what could go right, what could go wrong, all the pitfalls, all the strategy, the marketing, how you're going to get customers, all the assumptions in the business plan, in the model, in the financial model. If they make sense, we will put all the money that we save for you for college into your business. Obviously, he didn't take me up on that, but because he wanted to play basketball at the college level, which is I fully support, right? But why do I say college and business school is unnecessary? The other element, right? Because nothing will teach you the pitfalls of business other than running a business. Like when your product fails, customers are pissed, employees suck, they betray you, betray your trust, you're not getting customers right, your investors are like, where the fuck is my money? You take loans and credit lines and all these things, and the bank's like, hey, you owe us some money. Nothing's going to prepare you for that. But if you get over these hurdles and learn the lessons early, it gives you the reps to be successful the next time. And it only takes, as Mark Cuban says, it only takes one. We have a portfolio now of over, I don't know, I should know offhand, but like probably 15 different projects or companies that we're involved with. If one of them hits, done. On top of the law firm's going to hit too. That's already given. But if one of the other projects hits, done. It only takes one, as Mark Cuban says. However, to build to get to that one, takes learning, takes failure, takes fuck-ups. So if you want to be successful in business, start your own business. In fact, this is actually proven up by research. There was a recent study of interviewing or surveying the Fortune 500 CEOs. The top 20% of the Fortune 500 CEOs never went to college. Never went to college, yet became the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. What does that say? Right? That's number one, it tells you I'm not BSing. But number two, it just says you have to learn how to operate outside of a textbook. Yes, there's book smarts, but more importantly, it's showing me that street smarts matter more. Understanding people, understanding strategy, understanding human behavior. If your nose is buried in a textbook all night long, all semester long, you're not going to learn shit about how other people think or how they feel or how to read that. And even today's generation, where they're plugged into the cell phone all the time, they can't read human nature at all. Like, you don't understand how many young people don't even know the concept of personal space because they've never been out in society to get punched in the face when they get too close to somebody. That's why you see all these rages in the street, these crowd, takeovers and stuff, because people don't understand human behavior. And so if you want to separate yourself out from the masses in business, go start a business so you can learn how people think, buying behavior, consumer habits, how they think, confidence. How do you instill confidence in somebody else whether they buy your product or they hire your service? How do you do these things? Right? There's no textbook strategy. You have to just go out there and build that trust and confidence in other people to pay you money for what you offer. And plus, if you go to college now, you want to become an accountant? Man, people are using AI for bookkeeping and taxes. Right? You want to become a lawyer almost. Like, I'm a litigation lawyer, which is entirely different, which I don't think can be replaced by AI to a large extent. But if you're a business lawyer where you're writing up contracts and shit, most of my customers, many of my clients and many of my friends say, look, bro, I use ChatGPT for 80% of this contract. I need you to take a look at the 20% that's, a little bit unique. It's taken over. If you want to become a doctor, man, there's so much AI out there going over, like, if your radiology, done. AI can detect more on a radiographic film than radiologists can, like 90% more with better accuracy. Right? Business school, financial modeling, AI handles that. Reading K's and Q's, AI does that. Trading strategies, AI already does that. In fact, one of the most profitable private financial service trading firms called, I think, Jane Street, they hire more philosophy people than actually quants. Like, they want people that understand physics and astrophysics and all these other things with the science and algorithms. However, they hire just as much out of philosophy because of the way people think, understanding the way people think, and crowd behavior and human behavior and behavioral economics, all these things. All these things. In fact, my son, who he came back for the summer, I said he went into college thinking he wanted to do business. So after the first year, the summer, I'm like, hey, you still thinking business? He's like, no, actually not. I said, that's great, because AI's taken over business, right? Business modeling, things you learn in business school. I said, so what's it going to be? He's like, man, I actually think I want to be a sports psychologist. I said, fantastic. Because it's that human-to-human thing that AI cannot replace. I cannot encourage him more to go into sports psychology than any other thing he's interested in at the moment. Because AI cannot replace you whispering into a superstar basketball player's ears and giving that player the confidence and the thought process on how to handle pressure, stress, failure, fatigue, mental durability, winning, a killer mentality on in sports, of course. These things that AI cannot teach you. In fact, he's already building the skills as the communicator on his team, his college D1 team. So it's these things, man, like just going back to it. I always get asked the question by very young adults, young people, even very young people. Hey, man, I want to open a business. What's the first thing I should do? Go open a business. Just do it. Don't matter what your age is. Go sell newspaper, sell window cleaning, sell lawn mowing, sell car washing, whatever. Whatever your age, just start some type of small business. Because over the course of the summer or several months, you will learn infinitely more about how to run a business than what you'll learn in business school. The stuff you learn in business school, it's great. I'm not knocking it at all. But it's built from let me graduate from Yale and become, a Boston consulting person, which is great. Absolutely. Go advise Fortune 500 companies, right? Go advise, multi-international companies on theoretical things, right? Textbook things. But if you want to build true value, build business, become a multi-billionaire, right? Look at Jeff Bezos. He left a major consulting firm. I think he left Boston Consulting to go sell books online, open his own business. Now he's, top 5 richest men on the planet. It's building things, understanding relationships, understanding human behavior. Those are the things that'll make you wealthy. Granted, I am not even close to where I want to be, and I'm not even up there in the top echelon. I've got a long-ass way to go, but I have my plans, I have my goals, right? And for me, that's why people come to me as a lawyer, business lawyer, than they would to a $1,000 an hour transactional lawyer downtown. Because I've operated businesses. I look at legal issues from a business operational standard compared to lawyers that graduated law school, went straight into a law firm, went straight into, straight legal work. Yeah, they can advise you all day long based on what they've seen, but they cannot advise you based on what they've done. There's a massive difference. A massive difference. And that's why a lot of people come to me actually for business advice, even though I'm a litigation lawyer, because I've operated shit. I've done shit that most 99% of other lawyers wouldn't have never done. So they don't have the same perspective as I do, right? So think about that. If you want to start a business, start it now. Start it small, learn the lessons, more importantly, make the failures. So you take those lessons and grow to the next size business, until you're making, whatever your goal is, $1 million a month, which I really, really hope you do. But you better share this damn show when you get there, right? So what a fantastic couple weeks. Gumball 3000, shout out to them. Shout out to the Exotics Network out of Austin, one of the top national car groups on the planet. Adonis, the hospitality, we're a partner. Go to westlooplaw.com, curaconnector.com, mymeddi.ai.com. That's an AI medication management platform we own and launched. Legacy X token, more to come out of that. Gosh, so much stuff that we're involved with. Go to that. Learn from that. Learn from those things. Ask questions. DM me direct. I don't care. Happy to give the advice, okay? But start. If you really want to hit your goals, start. The best MBA is opening your own business. Just remember that. The best MBA is opening your own business. Next episode, I'm going to be so excited to talk about Gumball 3000, man. It was a fantastic experience, fantastic time. Just kind of lifetime, once in a lifetime. Obviously you can buy your way in, but once in a lifetime experience, at least for now. Top 3 car experiences for me. That's going to be on the next episode. But for now, I'm going to close the show as I close every day. When my head hits a pillow, close my eyes. I thank God and the universe for another day to have been great. Hopefully live to my fullest controllable potential, and hopefully have inspired at least one person. If that was you, please do share the show. So I give thanks to God. I give thanks to everybody that supported the show, growing by the hundreds and thousands on a weekly, monthly basis. So grateful for the opportunity to rebalance my own karma by giving this free knowledge to you all so that you all can grow, make the world a better place. So be great today, but be even more grateful. And I look forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon. If you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow.